And last but not least, I'm going to show some functionality that we've been working really, really hard on for a long time. And this is the first time we're going to publicly show it, but it is not actually not out yet. So it is out for a few firms who are very graciously testing all of the very sharp corners. But now I am going to show it to you all here. And that is Keeper's receipt capture functionality. So this is something that I know a lot of y'all have requested for a long time, and and is something that we have been listening to y'all for. We've always wanted to make sure that we do things the right way. We've always wanted to make sure, as we added more breadth and more depth to Keeper, that doesn't end up feeling like this terribly clunky experience where it's like the feature is too hard to access, so you don't end up using it in the first place. So receipts is in here. That's the coolest thing about this. Before we dive into all of the functionality, all of the things we've done, I think my absolute favorite part is just how seamlessly it integrates with the entire rest of the Keeper ecosystem, with the close page right here, with the client list. Really, everything is just built on top of the core primitives that we built Keeper out with for client communications and posting transactions and attachments. And we sort of weaved all of those together to build out our receipt management functionality. So most of receipts lives right here in your client uploads inbox. And before I sort of dive headlong into feature after feature, I want to just break things up. We're going to sort of talk about two major pieces. First is, how do you get receipts in here? And second is, what do you do with receipts? So because Keeper builds on top of the functionality, Keeper's receipts builds on top of the functionality that's already available within Keeper, the first thing that your clients can do to give you receipts is they can go to the portal and they can drag and drop files, same way that they always have. So they could just drag and drop a file right here, and it will go straight to your inbox. And then you can treat it like a receipt and post it to a transaction. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So first is, your clients can upload these files. Second is, I know this has been a long requested feature for a long time, and this will be coming in with receipts, is you can now manually add files in here yourself. So if your client, I don't know, sends you a zip file of a bunch of receipts, you could just drag and drop them right here, and then upload the receipts right here to Keeper as well. And then, of course, we have some other systems that are not actually here in Keeper or in any UI at all, and that's email and texting. So again, building on top of the functionality that we have built for other use cases, the phone number that you picked when you were setting up your practice, so that's in your branding, your practice phone number. This phone number, your clients will be able to text, and that will send a picture of whatever they text into Keeper as a receipt, so that you can manage it as well. So that if your clients are on the go, they can literally just text you and you have the things that you need. Of course, more traditionally, and probably more importantly, we also support email forwarding. So basically, there's a new feature, or new setting called receipt capture, where you can set up an email receipt, or set up an email forwarding address, and then all of the emails that you send there will get routed into Keeper as well. This is still a little bit work in process, so I won't spend a ton of time talking about it. But this is something that we're super excited for. Is it's just going to be one forwarding email. So you can give your clients all a single email, especially for clients who have multiple businesses. They don't need to remember business A at keeper.app or business B at keeper.app. You can just give them something that is, again, completely custom branded. So it can be like docs at mypracticename.com. And then just based on who's the person that's sending that email, it'll automatically route into the appropriate client. All right. So now that we've got the receipts into Keeper, what do we do with them? And this is, I think, where we start. Things start to get really, really cool. So first thing is, all of this is powered by a really, really powerful OCR engine that reads all your documents when you scan them. You can choose to have those auto scan or manually scan based on this toggle setting right here. And then once we recognize that a scanned document is a transaction, we'll put it down here in your transaction file. So your files inbox, uploads inbox looks the same. And then your transaction files, we'll put everything down in here. And we'll take that OCR data, and we'll also use it to automatically extract fields like your transaction date, like the vendor that you spent money with, the amount. And for the Canadians in the room, I said I would have something for you. And that thing is, we'll also extract out the tax code. So we'll extract out whether it's GST, PST. We'll extract the specific tax line items. So spent a lot of time making sure that this works well, both north and south of our northern border. All right. So once you've got those in here, just like any other table in Keeper, you can edit all of these just like you would with any other transaction. You can see here we have this light bulb that will show up if you suggest a transaction, or sorry, if Keeper's OCR will suggest a transaction. So we can see here this is superhuman, and so that's why we suggested superhuman. So starting to take advantage of the fact that in Keeper, you can see all of your transactions, you can see all of your vendors, you can see your entire chart of accounts. Another way that we take advantage of seeing all of your transactions is with auto matching. So again, we can see all your transactions, and that really cuts down on the risk of posting in a duplicate entry. So basically, you'll see a little matching symbol right here, and you can click here. And if we have multiple potential matches, you can see both of those here. But of course, we can see we've got the script, and so now we can confirm that as a match, which will take the receipt that someone uploaded for you and auto post it into that transaction instead of posting it as a new transaction entirely. So a lot of work to prevent those duplicates. You can see, in addition to the light bulbs, we also have lightning bolts, and that is because we also support rules here within Keeper. So we'll touch a little bit on these, but there's sort of a couple of different major flavors of rules. The rules engine itself is super general, so you can do anything you want with it. I think one of the most exciting pieces about that is you can do things like create a rule for payment accounts. You can say, if we notice 2,400 in the receipt, automatically set the payment account to Chase checking, for example. But in addition, we've got Home Depot, for example. And so you can see here, we can recognize that this is Home Depot, and then we can set the vendor to Home Depot. We can set the type to expense, the category to job supplies, the class, the payment account, really everything here that you want to pull out of this receipt, you can do as a rule, and then it will automatically categorize any new scans here as well. And of course, here you can see this is an example of the sort of more detailed editing interface. You pop out of the table here, and you can see your entire transaction. And then you can also come here and edit any of these fields. All right. So that is a quick crash course tour of all the things you can do in Keeper's receipt management functionality. And so where does that leave us? Where are we today? So receipt management is currently in a private alpha. That means there's like 3 or 4 practices who are very graciously developing scar tissue as they help us round off the sharp corners in the private alpha. In a couple of weeks, we should be going into a beta, which means things will be more stable. We'll be letting more firms in. There will be public documentation about how to use the product, how to use receipts, how to set it up. So if you haven't already signed up for that beta, I'm going to drop a link here into the chat, and you can sign up for it there as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much receipts. Super excited to get this out into the world for y'all. As you all know, we prefer to get things out as soon as they are ready, and this is almost ready. So so with that, I will go ahead and pause my share here, or just pause my rambling, and pop on over to the Q&A and answer some questions.